Today's sponsor is collecticon.com/One Piece. You could buy and pre-order a bunch of One Piece POPs on there, and you could be very happy. You could say it's a happy store.
This is the unofficial One Piece podcast, episode 307 for the week of Monday, February 24th, 2014. My name is Zach.
And my name is Steve.
On today's podcast, we have a very special guest, the translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump. We have Stephen Paul. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, good to be back.
And from the Ass Backwards Anime podcast at SSAAPodcast.com, we have Doctor.
I'm not special.
Well, I have to say Stephen's special. It's in the contract.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So no one else then. You could
Doctor just needs better representation.
I think that's what you need, an agent.
Yeah, Stephen is ironclad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a lawyer. I looked at that contract. Well written, Stephen. Good job.
Well,
I really should have.
So
I should have read it before I signed it. That's where I messed up. Wow, that joke is terrible. So on today's podcast, we have a lot of cool stuff for you. We have a new manga recap, anime recap, Toonami Recap, Piece Together, and the winners of the contest to get Namco Bandai codes for Romance Dawn for the 3DS. So stay tuned for that. A lot of cool stuff is happening right now. We are going to be at Anime Boston on Friday, March 20. From Friday, March 21st through the 23rd. Doc will be there. Steve will be there. Doc's nice enough to give us accommodations.
Yeah.
Because he continues to be awesome.
But I'm not special.
But you're not special. I think,
Yeah.
I think we're really cutting hairs here.
You gotta be awesome, and then you gotta be superb, then you're special.
Okay. I see how this goes.
Thanks. I needed the hierarchy. We'll be at Anime Boston. We'll be premiering One Piece podcast goes to Japan there. Really excited about that. Jose is hard at work in the final stages of editing and subtitling. Steven, as I think he said last week, is all done with the translating, which is definitely one of the hardest parts. So again, thank you to our special guest, Steven.
yeah, that was it was quite backbreaking to do all that stuff, but it kind of had to be done just so that we were able to pick and choose like what to put in there and whatnot, because it was like 5 hours of just one solid block of interview stuff and translated
cooking.
all of it.
Yeah,
lots of cooking.
Yeah, that was a fun part to be at. But now, Stephen, well, no, you can't really appreciate it since you speak Japanese, but I was there and didn't understand what was going on. So
Yeah.
you're kind of going to bring this experience I've lived to some sort of like cognizance. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you'll finally see what was happening the entire time.
Like, I hate watching or listening to myself, but I might have to.
all the horrible things that people were saying about you while Greg was talking to them. So
Finally subtitled. So, make sure to check the world premiere of that at Anime Boston. That is going to be Friday, March 21st, 3 p.m. in Panels C. We will also be at Anime Boston that Saturday for our panel. That's going to be at 5 p.m. At Anime Boston. I think I said that 3 times. It needs to be said.
Where is Anime Boston?
It's in Boston, Massachusetts, Steve.
Oh.
And Jose will also be there, and we'll be recording almost definitely the panel if he's going to be there, and hopefully some other cool stuff like the Q&A for the documentary. So people who gave us support for the documentary, hopefully you'll be seeing some videos out of the Anime Boston world premiere. We still don't have a solidified date as to when the wide distribution for the movie is going to be, but hopefully that'll be coming soon. And I hope it'll come very soon after the world premiere, but we're still working out a lot of the details for that. Also, I guess kind of news, the BTVA Anime Dub Awards are out, and there's a lot of One Piece nominees here. I know, Steve, you're a huge dub fan, so did you get a chance to see who was nominated?
No, I have not. I have not been following that site lately, so Who is anyone from One Piece nominated?
Well,
I
there's
assume that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of One Piece nominated. Strong World got nominated for the best vocal ensemble in an anime, movie, and special, so that's really good news. For their roles in One Piece, Scott McNeil, Sean Schimmel, Christopher Corey Smith, and Jade Saxton all got nominated for their roles in One Piece.
And they definitely deserve it. I'm surprised Sean Schimmel got nominated.
Yeah, for best male supporting vocal performance as a farter. No, but that's very cool too.
I might be a little bit biased, but Scott McNeil deserves to win.
Yeah, Scott McNeil definitely deserves to win that.
Everyone from One Piece deserves to win. No, but no, definitely I'm a little biased towards Scott McNeil and Chris Smith. They were both awesome last year.
There are also voice actors from One Piece that have been nominated overall in general for their performances in 2013 include, of course, Ian Sinclair, Andrew Love, Andrew Love, who did Kumadori, David Wald, who did Polly, Colin Clinkenbeard, you might know as Luffy, Jade Saxton, again, as young Nico Robin, Lucy Christian as Nami, and Philip Weber as Iceberg. Particularly, I think he did a very good job as Iceberg. They all did great jobs, but he's the breakthrough male voice actor of the year. I thought he did a very good job. So I do want to give a shout out to all of them. I know this is a very cool way to recognize voice actors out there, especially new ones who are breaking into the scene. So that's a cool little thing. You can check out more information about that on our website, along with all the big news. William has been hard at work posting really cool interest articles, including a lot of Mugiwara store news, new apparel. There's also going to be a One Piece theme park in Nagasaki if you want to check out more about that, new merch, and a lot of other interest and news stories. Check out our website. I think I've been talking too much, so why don't we get into the podcast? You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is the manga recap for chapter 738, Trebol Army Special Officer Sugar. Steve, what's going on the front page here?
Well, it's titled Frankie Builds a Miniature House for Some Hamsters by Noda Skywalker from Osaka. Skywalker.
Making a second appearance.
Yeah, when I saw that, and it was like 2 in a row, I was almost like, did they forget to replace the text, like they left in the name from last week? I guess we'll find out when the volume.
Yoda spoke of another.
There is another Skywalker.
Maybe his twin sister is also named Noda.
Maybe they're pronounced differently, Noda and Noda.
I wish we had the dude here because he'd do his Palpatine, his Obi-Wan. We'd all laugh, and we'd continue.
Now, one time he's not here.
But yeah, Frankie just, I guess, found some hamsters and decided to just build a house for him. Very nice house.
It's a very busy cover, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I personally love the hamsters that are waiting online, and they're just chewing nuts, just stuff in their faces. It's adorable. Look at them.
Yeah. I also like that the hammer was apparently too small for Frankie's fist, so he has a smaller fist coming out of his palm to use it. Same with the saw.
Yeah, we haven't seen those in a little while. But it seems like they have their own restaurant going on here. I know this is the part everyone likes about the manga recap. Now look at those tiny looking baguette seeds or whatever those are. Fantastic. Anyway, you want to go into the chapter?
Yes, clearly. Inside the underground officer's tower, and as we get a flashback to dialogue said in the previous chapter, we're gonna use the hottest grape in the world, filled with Tata Babasco sauce to knock sugar unconscious, conscious. And of course, Luffy. No, I'm sorry. Luffy. Usopp. There we go.
You're
Usopp
getting
and Robin.
There. Yeah.
They're hiding outside the entrance, and we see Sugar and Trebol just standing there as what's his name again? The leader Tontada.
Leo.
I knew it was something with letters.
Something that's on this page multiple times.
My bad. I'm focused on just this one panel right now.
Yes, Steven.
So Leo braces himself. He's ready to sprint in there and sneak that grape in there. And Trebol kind of noticed something, just kind of zings, zers and onomatopoeias right past him. And he creates a little drip on his index finger and ptoo! And bam, shoots a little bit of
Stick.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
And it creates a huge explosion and blows a huge hole right through, a giant, crater through one of the walls to the officer's tower. And Sugar is like, what is it? And he's like, and he's like, oh, it was a fly. And Robin kind of sprouts her head outside to see, to check on that.
Well,
and
Steven, what was the sound effect?
Yeah.
I was a little confused about that. But go on. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. I think this also now debunks the theory that Robin always wears her sunglasses when. Well, no, I think that's the theory is she wears her sunglasses when she sprouts another body.
Yeah.
I don't know if the head counts.
Yeah, it's kind of
And the
questionable there.
Well, she doesn't even have her sunglasses on her at the moment, right? She did, and she put them away, right?
I think it was a fan theory, but I don't know.
Well, she does appear later in the chapter with the sunglasses.
Oh, okay. See, my memory is.
Okay. Ooh. So moving on, the Tontatas give a little Tontata shiver, quite intimidated by that little feat. And Leo says he might shoot a fly, but he can't shoot me. He's like, you're going to give us back our captured compatriots. It's like, good luck, Leo. And Robin closes her eyes. And Usopp's like, please let this work. And all of a sudden, Robin's hands sprout up and grabs Leo, and she says, wait.
Doc?
And now we go to the Smile Factory within the underground trading ports. As you see, little, what do you call them? Diagram of like, here's the factory, and here's the tower.
Pretty close, but on the other side, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. It depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah, I don't know. Those diagrams make everything seem very tiny.
Yeah, I was looking at it upside down, so I think that's why it wasn't working. And we got some people saying, we ain't got any new workers in the last year. Then you see a nice little shot of a flower. A luminous flower, elegant sunflower. Okay.
Pretty.
It's pretty. It's flashy. And we see what looks to be a giant... What?
I know. I want to ask Stephen what exactly was going on with the sunflower here.
Well, I think the idea is that it's giving sunlight to the area so that they can have this smile factory where they raise the fruits and not have it exposed to the outside where people can see. So, in other words, it's even though it's underground and is kept secret, they're still able to do this cultivation project using presumably real sunlight.
Oh.
Get that photosynthesis going.
This is like a giant greenhouse.
Yeah. It's a grow operation.
Oh, okay. So we do see essentially a giant smile factory. Nice big shot of it. And you see trees and looks to be vats of goo. I have no idea what's inside of that. I'm guessing sand. And because like if you look at the bottom panel here, you can see what looks to be the sunflowers at the very tippy top of this dome, if you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Don't sounds right. And we see it looks to be a bunch of Tontatas slaving away, and we have I don't know if that's Miss Piggy or some pig dude that is essentially just saying, "Hey, too slow," and just whipping people.
You're too slow.
Damn it, frog. Using her whip of love. But you can see the Tontata strength. They're carrying sad barrels, jar things, big. I don't even know what to call this thing.
The tanks. I don't even.
Yeah.
I guess it's a tank.
Tank. I was looking for the word. For some reason, tank didn't come to here. Now I'm going all over the place, mind you, but it looks to be just like it's a lot of slave labor going around here.
It's very Oompa Loompa-ish.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was
We
also
don't know
slave
the full
labor.
story behind the Oompa Loompas.
Well, if Futurama is any indication, they're not paid.
They think they have a good union, but
Yeah,
they don't. They're practically slaves.
Yes.
I think
From
we all
Loopland to
imagine
this,
that. Yeah. Well, I think that Futurama just really bridges the gap between Tontada and Oompa Loompa.
just less orangey.
We don't know that. I guess we do know that.
I thought we saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, this is pretty much this entire panel. You get to see like, this a day in the life of the slave Tontadas.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing now. I'm very curious. Like this looks to be a bunch of fish here that I'm guessing are cooked, and that's like they all have to eat from that because it looks.
That's their meal.
That's their meal.
Oh wow!
As it says, meal.
Yeah.
Very unsanitary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah. As well as just the guy basically gloating about how gullible they are. It's like they have no idea that we're working them and it's totally evil, and they just think we're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, they
I don't know if
realize that.
I don't know if I respect or lose respect for a villain who knows that they're evil. It's like, okay.
Aren't we really evil guys? Yeah, aren't we?
Gentlemen, to evil.
I feel like those kind of people, I feel like even evil people don't really think they're evil. I think they delude themselves into it. But I guess this guy knows.
That sounds like good writing, Zach.
And we do have to point out in the foreground, I don't know if we've ever seen these before. I think we have. That's Smile. Those are the fake devil fruits.
Looks like
There was an illustration of it once. Like there was I think when we first got the description of what the Smile is and what Doflamingo's plan is, and there was like a big drawing of the Smile with those little circles on it, and then there was a bunch of other stuff in the background of Kaido's army.
I think when Smiley, as I'm sure Steve remembers, I think when Smiley blew up, I think the result of which was not a real. I don't think it was a real devil fruit, was it, or was it? I think it was one of these kind of devil fruits.
I don't know. I don't.
That might have been.
So.
I might be wrong there, but at least the one that we saw Momonosuke eat. I think that was definitely although a prototype.
Well, the Smiley couldn't have been like an actual Smile, because isn't Smile so far it's only Zoan?
It was Zoan though. It was Salamander. It was a Salamander type.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah.
I think it was because wasn't. I guess slimy. It's not really. It could be. I don't know what the pun is there. There's so many puns. Smiles and slime and smiles.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Steven.
So we turn the page and we can see a more close-up look at one of these vats of the SAD, and it's got a spout right over the waterway there, and one of the Tontadas turns this spigot and it starts dumping SAD into the water supply. We see another Tontada picking one of the Smiles, but it's kind of, I mean, pretty much all of them that we can see here are not, the pattern does not go all the way over the fruit. And they're loading it up in the cart, and then one of the henchmen here is like, hang on a sec, these ain't ripe yet. Rah! And he just kicks the whole cart over. And he says, I thought you were supposed to be able to cultivate any plant. And yet again in this arc, an instant where I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Because, we found out when we first met the Tontadas on Greenbit that they're masters of plants and they can basically grow and cultivate any plant. That's why they had that crazy little underground kingdom. And so, yes, that's what they're doing. That's the whole point of the Smile operation, is they're using their powers of horticulture to produce these unnatural fruit, as the Tontadas explain. Yeah, they're so unnatural, but he doesn't want any lame excuses. So yes, the poor Tontadas are begging for mercy. Please, just let my brother have a short rest. Today's food was a little rotten. Yeah, I can believe that, seeing as they were basically just giant fish rotting in the sun. Really gross. And he's like, "Oh, what, now you're complaining about the food?" And the guy says, "Don't you want to help cure your Princess Moncherie's disease?" And oh yes, Princess Moncherie, that would be the despicable, selfish, mean-spirited, fickle, irritable, annoying Princess Moncherie of the Tontatas. And they say, "Oh yeah, we do want to help." And he says, "All right, well then get working on that. It's the only thing that can cure your princess, the smile fruit. But less than 1/10 of every harvest can actually be used. So you have to find some way to increase productivity." And this little Tontata says, "Please, can we just see her once?" And the henchman with a tear in his eye, "Oh, you can't, because if you did, you caught her disease. Why? Oh, we would cry so hard. How could we let that happen to our beloved partners?" And the Tontatas are so touched. "Oh, Mr. Underling." And they bow down on the ground. "We'll work hard as ever. Please keep our princess safe." And he's like, "Man, these guys are so gullible."
So much like Lieutenant Stalker, we have someone named after what they do. Mr. Underling.
Well, I think they're just using that as a. Yeah.
I was hoping his name was actually Mr. Underling. On the next page, we return to the executive tower, where we see. Now I remember the name of it, and not just because it was a chapter title last week.
No, it's the officer's tower.
Oh, it was every time
Busted.
Oh, taken down a notch. So the Tontatas ask, Leo specifically asks what Roboland is doing, and she explains that if Leo had gone in there, he being Trebol would have gotten them, saying, "Look, the fly he zapped, it was shot right between the eyes, so his eyesight must be really incredible, and it would be too dangerous for you to go in there while he's watching over Sugar." So Usopp asks, "What's your plan, Robin?" Meanwhile, we might see the fruits of that plan as one of the cargo ships finds that one of their cargo is filled with an army of pink wasps, and there we see the what was the name of that force? The
Beyond. Actually, it was pink. Well, when Oda originally revealed them with the 2 squadrons of Bug Tontata, it was the Pink Bee squadron. But the thing is, the term for wasp is Suzumebachi, which means like bird bee essentially, and so I think he used that bee root to call it pink bees, but then it's actually referring to wasps. I think Alex kind of forgot that because I had originally said pink bees, but yeah, at any rate, it's Beyond from the Pink Bee squad.
And we head back to the officer's tower. There we go. And where Robin uses her there's the sunglasses. Mm-hmm. Uses her skills as a former, or as someone who knows deception, as we know very well with Robin, saying that in Sector 4 there is trouble with, I'm not even going to pronounce the name of that crew. Yves?
Eves.
Yeah. Eves. Saying, and then Trebol's like, yeah, I guess that's Trebol talking there, right? That they're trying to renegotiate the price with an.
I think that's Robin. That's weird font choice.
That
there.
is a weird font choice for Robin. Yeah. That's why I was a little confused. And Trebol. Oh yeah, that would make sense that was Robin, because Trebol responds that I guess they're not intimidating by Joker. Well, and then asks if they've changed the report cards, and this is like a Star Warsian kind of conversation. Yeah. It's like, no, he's on lunch break. Yeah, he's not available.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine here. How are you?
This whole scene just was completely out of Star Wars. I love it. Yeah. And they talk about gullibility with the Tontatas here. I mean, come on. Sugar seems a little suspicious about it, but Robin then says, "Look, it's an emergency. There are casualties," and Trebol's like, "Okay, fine, I'm coming. Here we go."
Sorry, Zach. Not to just steal a reference from the movie "This Is the End," but come on, you could say it better than that.
I haven't seen
casualties.
I haven't seen this.
You could say you could say it with a little more seriousness.
Casualties.
Better.
Steve.
And on that note, actually, I don't know what note I just made. I'm just going to.
It's a good movie. Go watch it.
Okay.
So Trebol locks the door. And one of the guards is like, "Oh, so are you coming out of the tower, Mr. Trebol?" He's like, "Yeah, strengthen security around the doors here. If anything happens, you tell me at once." And the guy's like, "Yes, got it." Of course, because Trebol gets very, very close. And now Trebol's walking with Robin. He's like, "So hey, where's the fight? Where's the fight?" Getting up too close and personal.
Notice his head is
practically upside down. And it looks like he has a horse's body.
Yeah,
I think it's more like one of those crazy banana slug things.
It's just there's two bumps.
he's freaking disgusting looking.
Yeah,
I don't know if we've said that enough. Yeah. Go ahead.
Some of the other underlings are like, "Whoa, it's Mr. Trebol. Good to see you, sir."
He clearly does not get out a lot.
Kiss asses.
Yeah.
A bunch of kiss asses. You're looking well.
Go ahead.
And we cut back to the Tontadas talking with Usopp, and Leo asks, "Oh, you're not going to fight?" And Usopp's like, "That would be too easy for me." But he thinks, and doing nothing is the safest plan. He says, "But your success in the operation will be a great source of confidence to you. Have no fear. If anything goes wrong, I'll ensure that everything is saved in the end." Like, wow, what a relief.
What's the Gurren Lagann phrase? Believe in the me that believes in you. He's saying, believe in the you that believes in you. Just, you do your thing. You do your thing.
It's like a office like character building or trust building exercise or something.
Exactly.
Synergy.
So
you create that corporate synergy, guys. Go out there. Sorry.
So we cut back to the officer's room for the upteenth time this chapter. And then we get like a little dust cloud and just the pitter-pattering, and all the Tontadas just rush in right there and stand their ground. And they, "So Wenda, sugar, we've come to free our fellows that you've enslaved in the factory. Then we're going to knock you out."
I don't understand what the point was.
Mama
to secret...
Tontada said knock you out.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
I don't understand what the point was sneaking the Tata Babasco if they're just going to yell it. What they're going to do. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't.
And she says, "Knock me out, but I don't know anything about your friends." And they're like, "What? Really?" "Yes." "Oh, never mind then." And Usopp's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be so fooled." And they're like, "Oh, that was a close." And they're like, "Oh, never mind. That was a close one. Give us back our friends." And she's like, "Who put you up to this?" Damn it. Now I forget the other Star Wars line. It's like, where the guy's like, it's like, "What number are you?" Boring conversation anyway. Boring reference anyway. I don't know. "Who put you up to this? You're so stupid. You don't even realize you're being manipulated." As she kind of sucks on her, or she probably just eats another grape.
What an asshole. Doctor.
Yeah, and then she goes like, "All right then, little Tontada, so I wonder why you haven't been in to the palace in the last year. Sees someone's been leading you astray." And you see the Tonsada's like, "Take her, attack, hold her down, and pry her mouth open. That sounds very wrong."
Yeah.
Let's stick this ball down her throat.
I will point out.
I'm done.
I'll point out that R.L. Smith on Twitter, in response to that line, posted a GIF from Archer that says, "Hey, phrasing."
They use that joke a lot, and it is a good instance. Yeah.
Also, besides that, that bit of creepiness there, should point out that she's tossed her basket of grapes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's bad.
It's serious business. He's like, "Oh, yeah. you think I'm weak," and then with the you're already
totally
bears.
does do that.
And turns all the Tontadas into little teddy bear block things.
So I think
Not all of them.
the big question here is, when are they going to sell these? Right?
Seriously.
Yeah,
Right
come
now.
on, Shueisha / Toei.
Oh, they're so adorable.
I would definitely buy some of these. If Leo gets turned into one, I'd buy that one. That's how you know it's going to happen. Merchandising.
You sick bastard.
You jerk.
I won't remember who he is at that point, so don't worry. Steven.
So all the Tentatas are just floating in the air in shock at what has happened, and Usopp is confused by what's just happened, and Sugar just goes right into the contract. Thou shalt obey my orders until the end of thy life. So now they're basically under her spell, like basically all of the toys that they've got working for them. And that causes you to lose memory of them. So of course Leo and the other Tentatas are like, what? Where did those toys come from? What are we doing here? And Sugar gives the order, slaughter everyone inside the officer's tower. And Usopp thinks, everyone? That includes me? He is bugging out. And the toys, of course, know that they have been turned into toys. They're like, what's everyone forgotten about me? No, I can't disobey her orders. And meanwhile, Leo says, defeat the enemy soldiers. And they're trying to resist, but it's pointless. It's Tentata on Tentata crime here. They're both pitted against each other.
I just like this one panel. No, Leo, it's me, Flapper. Not Flapper.
Anyone but Flapper.
Who the hell is Flapper?
I don't know.
I think he's the guy with the polka dot hat, and you can see his mental image on the other panel.
You could see in the earlier pages that character in this chapter. I think the page that Steve that you were doing, you could see him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on
the right. Yeah,
he's one of the most minor of the named Tentata characters. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think if we go back to the previous page, kind of the page layout where we see him attacking on the first row, and then the second row, there's a panel just below it where there's a Tentata that turns into a toy. So I could assume that is Flapper.
I think we're all really excited though for when Greg has to memorize all of these Tentata's birthdays. Because they're getting named, so there's going to be a whole thing about them. I'm sorry, Greg. I don't envy that at all. I want Usopp just to get into this fight already. This is starting to annoy me. Go on, sorry, Stephen.
And so Sugar, immediately after setting up that fight, she takes the PA speaker here and turns it on and says, "Trebol, come back at once. It's a trap."
More Star Wars references, guys?
Yes, more Star Wars.
So Trebol's like, a trap? Can someone do an Akbar? No.
Well, there is a guy saying "ack" over there.
That's pretty close.
Bar.
Could have fit that in, Steven.
Yeah, I probably could have.
You weren't thinking. So Robin is leading the way, saying, "Oh, look, there's a pirate still raising hell over there," which is accurate. There are pirates raising hell. There's commotion in the background. So we hear a blurp, and here comes Trebol. Damn it. That's a really... Okay. Should have used that pun earlier. So here comes Trebol saying, "What's all the trouble? What's the commotion here?" And they say, "Trouble, Trebol?" Okay, that one. Steven.
You like that?
I like
You.
God damn it.
Trebol, no. Just found a hive of bees in our cargo. Nothing to worry about.
Trouble? No,
Trouble. No trouble.
Nah, Trebol. Trouble's not going on here. Oh, God.
You lost that. God. And then it was like, it was her. And he transmogrifies over back to Robin and says, "Hey, what are you up to? Let me just get way too close to you here." And Robin gets kind of smushed there. And while she's in his ooze, she just breathes heavy and is like, smirks and disappears in a froof. I promised I wouldn't do that. And he yells, "What? She disappeared, bud. I know that face." Steve?
We get another shout from inside the officer's room. "Trebol!" What? There's trouble? No, I'm saying your name. And Trebol says, "The Straw Hat Crew, how did they get in here?" It's like, Why are they going after Sugar? Duh! Well, let's think about that.
That's a stupid question.
Yeah. He says, that does it. Now I'm mad. And with a sticky chain, he grabs one of the pirate ships and says, stick 'em with stickly.
Was it weird that I was thinking Duke Nukem with stick 'em? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, I went with the stickly, but and the Meteora. Yeah, he smashes a pirate ship into the officer's room. Yeah, if you're going in there to save a friend,
This will help.
This will do something.
is that the safest thing to do?
It seems really rash. I mean, that.
Yep.
I've noticed, based on this and the fact that he blew a hole in the tower, like shooting a fly, like it kind of makes me wonder why the tower was in one piece to begin with. Like,
well, he seems to overreact a lot.
Yeah. It's like, how did he not just completely demolish everything, like every 6 hours?
Or he's like, oh, look, a fly. Let me shoot it. And here he's like, oh, something's happening. Let me throw a giant ship at it. It's a little overreacting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about the chapter. Steve, you want to start?
Yeah. I felt like this went by really quick. It was all Usopp, Robin, Tontadas, Sugar, and Trebol.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of felt very small scale compared to previous chapters, but it's getting the ball rolling. We're getting more subtle hints on just how powerful Trebol is. He's got really good eyes. He's very quick, and he's also very destructive.
And powerful,
Sugar is smarter than we think, but then again, she's
I think we were expecting that.
Yeah, she's an adult in a kid body. I guess probably the biggest reveal here was seeing the Smile Factory.
Yeah.
Steven?
I normally I think a chapter like this where, we're sort of down in the nitty gritty of the action part of an arc. It's not really a big story chapter. Like normally I would just sort of shrug chapters like these off, like, oh yeah, it's not much happened of interest to me. But I actually really liked this chapter, and I think it was all down to the execution. Like I had just sort of assumed that this was going to be like the comedy fight. This has like the weirdest characters in it, and kind of the least combative, if you will. Like this is not going to be like a Zoro fight where it's just pure muscle on muscle. But I was really kind of impressed by the way that Oda handled it. Like I liked that, Sugar was shown to be more, maybe not menacing or intimidating, but like she's definitely can handle her own better than you would have thought, given like the ridiculous protection that she has at all times. I thought the Tontadas being turned into the little bears was really, really cute, and kind of heartbreaking when they have to turn on each other. And I just thought that the ending where like Trebol just takes the shit. Like anytime someone's powers involved, like throwing or smashing or moving a giant ship, like it's serious business. And I was just like,
Law
whoa,
did it.
Law Fujitora, like.
Right.
That's like I was not expecting anything like that, and I was just like, wow, the Trebol is, he is much worse
trouble.
news. Yes, he's much bigger trouble than I had anticipated. So and in that sense, I think I was really impressed, and I enjoyed this chapter more than I probably thought I would have.
Doc did.
No, I like it's everything that Steven says. I think this is. I love the. I mean, despite it being just like a sad look to see all the slave labor that's going on with the Tontadas, seeing Sugar go all Kenshiro on these little guys is kind of hilarious. And like whenever they have to throw just a really big thing, I don't care what it is, as long as it's big, it's a freaking thing. Just throwing it at something is always cool.
Yes, I do agree with that sentiment. Yeah. No, I really did enjoy this chapter too. It's definitely smaller scale than anything we've seen, I'd say, in this arc. Like it was micro focused. The beginning was really interesting. We have a lot of like insights as to how Sad is made, it kind of makes sense that it's in a forest, but it's not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting a factory and grueling conditions, like, a sweatshop.
I'm actually curious about the sunflowers, like for them to actually focus on it. I wonder if that's ever going to be used, probably in the future or something.
Yeah, you got an Oda box for it. I thought there might have been like a camera in it or something, but I don't see a Denten Mushi. But as Steven said, I guess it's just more to let in sunlight. I saw the flash, so I wasn't quite sure what was happening there. The sunflowers are clearly something very important to this entire arc. I mean,
it's like crazy technology that this world has. Is always nice to see.
Yeah, and I think this chapter was really all about the Tontatas, which is why I enjoyed it. We see their strength. We see their weaknesses. I feel super terrible every time someone says something terrible about them because they're the cutest things ever, especially with the voice we've put on them. Steven specifically has put on them. It's interesting to see how their gullibility is used in this way. I think this is the first time we're kind of really seeing that. I mean, we saw it with Usopp, obviously, but in a malicious way. It's the first time we're seeing that. And I love the Star Wars gags. They were a lot of fun. And I think it's kind of what Steven was saying and what we were expecting with these fights. I mean, I was definitely expecting a tactician fight. Because we have smart people here. We have not to say anything about everyone else, but we have Trebol and Sugar, which are part of, what was their squad called?
Oh, yeah.
Like the special something.
I forget. I know what you mean. Yeah, they...
I think
they were the guy. Yeah, they were the guys with the powers.
The guys with the powers and the things. And we also have Robin and Usopp, who are quite the same way. I'm really getting impatient to see when Usopp's going to do something. I think we all know kind of what's going to happen. He's going to, I'm scared, I don't want to do anything, and then he'll do something. He'll get pushed to it and do it. I kind of was hoping that was a little less going to be the case with Usopp after the time skip. But it's same old Usopp.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're getting to the the real heart of this particular matchup. So I think he will be forced into action pretty soon.
He has to be, yeah. I mean, once the ship comes from the ceiling, I feel like he's got to do something.
Yeah. And another minor thing that got brought up too that I had actually completely forgotten about for the last few months was another mention of the Tontata princess, who we haven't seen, but it seems like she'll have to play a part at some point.
She might not be even alive anymore because they're obviously concealing something about her. She's obviously not sick, but they're not letting them see her. So I don't know. I don't know what's up. I feel like she is an interesting mystery added into all of this.
She could just be a hostage. I don't know.
Maybe I'm overthinking that. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we're done with the treble for treble and treble. Yeah. Ready to get into the next segment?
Sure. この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Today's sponsor is Collecticon. Thank you, Steven.
Sure.
Your voice got a little high pitched there.
どうもです。
For those who don't know, Collecticon has great POP apparel. Straight
and by apparel,
Japan.
we mean figures.
I meant figures. I don't know why I said the word apparel. PVC
they wear apparel.
PVC figures, toys, and collectibles. This week, there was a big push for Marco and Kaku. I believe Kaku is still available. I don't know by the time you're listening to this if it will be. It's a limited edition.
You can still pre-order.
You can still pre-order. You can also pre-order Sengoku. That one's really cool on there now. Those two are limited editions, and I think they really do mean limited since it's Japan, because Marco's gone.
I hope some actual listeners, because I know you tweeted the link a day or two ago, and I hope some listeners of the podcast got them, because that one looks really cool. Just the fire.
I think I saw a few people tweet us that listeners that their wallet was crying. So that sounds like a good sign for for them getting that. Bad sign for their wallet. They're really cool figures, and they were actually featured on the official One Piece website. I saw too, the Kaku and Marco specifically. Damn, there's a Sengoku. That's It's going to be hard to resist. For those, though, who are interested, there's a bunch more. Steven, are there any in there that you'd be interested in?
Oh, man. I'm not really a figure guy. I think I'm like Greg in that respect.
Yeah, me too. But there's some really nice ones here.
Yeah, I think the one that I would really want, I don't know if this is probably not the best for this sponsorship, but if they ever get that Usopp figure with the wolf that was at Jump Festa, I believe, that would be amazing. I might buy that even if it was like $200 or something.
Well, Collecticon, if you're listening.
Yeah, if you ever get that, I'll buy one. But
I think I would too. That's one. I'm sad the Kuzan one is sold out. That one's very cool as well on the Collecticon site. Anything from Doc, Steve? Anything new? I know, Steve, you've done these a lot.
Yeah, like all the ones I've recommended before, they're starting to get sold out. I'd recommend, I don't know, go for Sengoku and Kaku because once they get sold out, you might not be able to find them so easily.
I'm hovering over this Z edition of Sanji. Stop me!
It is pretty nice.
Uh-oh. Doc may buy this on the air.
He's even got the the Doflamingo cape in black.
I really like that one too. That if I would buy, I gotta wait until I'm slightly more employed. I'm kind of employed, just not completely. Anyway, this is getting off track. Go to collecticon.com/One Piece to pick up your own POP figures. And hopefully one day the Usopp figure that Steven and I really want. And I, of course, want to thank them for helping to support the podcast. It's because of them and viewers like you that we're still around. So why don't we get back into the podcast? Guys, ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is the anime recap for episode 634. A pirate noble, Cavendish. It's an exclamation point. Cavendish. Steve, we got to watch this episode together in 240p HD, in full HD. We just were a little impatient, and we wouldn't wait for Crunchyroll to finish loading it. It takes, for those who don't know, if you use Crunchyroll on like a set-top device, it takes a little while for it to load. And it looks very funny and pixelized. For Steve's reactions, check out his Twitter. Okay, so this episode starts out with a very lengthy introduction for Cavendish, who is ignored by Luffy. Luffy then finds out that he is overweight, or I should say he is wearing too much clothing.
He's fat!
And which Cavendish had already said, but he wasn't listening, so he shed some of those pounds. Meanwhile, Cavendish becomes Exposition Cavendish and says the crowd is just pent up over bloodlust. They want to just see blood out there, hence the bloodlust. Then
you could say that they're lusting for
blood.
A fluid that's inside the body that flows through the veins
and arteries.
And arteries. Might be blood. They might have a thing for blood.
Cavendish then he eats a rose, his secret shame.
Yeah, like he eats a rose. Like, what's up with that?
It was weird. What's up with people eating roses? I mean,
like he's not even doing it out of anger. He's just
eating it while he's talking.
I think he heard Luffy ask if there was food.
Speaking of Luffy, he's like, "What's your name?" And Luffy's like, "Oh, my name is Luffy." And everyone is like, "What?" That's literally.
Wait a minute.
What happens.
No, it's practically the record scratch scene.
Yeah, it's very close to that. And they notice it's actually Lucy, and they're like, "Oh, you scared me. I thought you said Luffy." His disguise continues to succeed. Cavendish then says how he was angry how the real Luffy, not Lucy, stole all of his attention, so he tells Lucy about it. And the whole thing is his poster was taken by his adoring fans, and Luffy went up and he fought Whitebeard. We get like new animation for Whitebeard and for the Marineford War stuff. Actually, that's old animation for that. Yeah, that's basically the Cavendish scene at the beginning. That's why the episode was named A Pirate Noble Cavendish. We move on from that, and we see Maynard. Everyone remembers Maynard, right? Vice Admiral Maynard. You may know him better as Capman, which sounds like a Doug hero.
Yes.
Quail Man and Catman.
Silver Skeeter.
Exactly. We haven't made enough Doug references, clearly, on this podcast. Then
I don't think there's been a demand.
Here comes...
Well, actually, the funny thing is I did make a Doug reference on a tweet where I thought that I really thought Trebol should sound like Mr. Dink.
Yeah, I could see that. I could hear that. So then we go back to Lucy, who is standing by a statue, and a girl gladiator comes over. We find out her name is Rebecca, a gladiator. And she proclaims that this man was the strongest man in the history of the Colosseum, but no one knows if he existed in the first place. And she is reading off of the tablet as she says it, because that's all they know.
Well, she's not completely reading off the tablet, because she would have called him a gladiator.
Yep.
Mm.
It's a typo, you see.
I get it. So she's very somber about it. She's very somber about this whole thing. It's the last time she's going to be fighting, and then she says she's going to kill Doflamingo. It's a pretty radical thing to say. And then we get to Steve's favorite part of the episode. We are introduced to a man with a bag on his head. What is his name, Steve?
Is it Mr. Store?
Yes.
Okay. But I do know what his catchphrase was.
What?
Happy Store!
It's eerily close to your Shiki impression.
Well, you mean dude's
Shiki impression.
Mm. Well, that's actually how he was saying it, though. And the cool thing, I was watching this episode with you. It's the first time I've watched a new episode of One Piece with someone else. But yeah, the first time I've watched a new episode of One Piece with you in quite some time.
It's been a long time.
Years, man. Like Marineford.
Probably, yeah.
It's all about strawberry. That was the last time you and me.
Oh, yeah, we used to do that every week. I forgot, yeah.
But
no,
yeah.
Wasn't that Fishman Island?
No.
Already? No? Okay. Because strawberry was in Fishman Island, as you may recall.
No, we were still...
you're probably right. Yeah.
I think we were still in Marineford.
It does not matter. Go on.
Yeah, but he was just yelling all the time, baby store. Now I'm really ripping off the episode. He was just like, baby store.
Happy store.
Happy store. Baby store.
Was that an accident?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I did it on purpose.
I don't know, maybe.
Making my own store, baby store. You go there and you just buy a baby.
I think babies are us.
No questions asked.
Idea. You buy a baby.
Just buy one.
I would like to purchase a baby.
So in Happy Store,
say that if you ever go to an adoption.
What do you buy at Happy Store? I think I put you guys on
weapons.
Weapons, really?
Instruments of torture.
That makes me happy.
So we find out that Happy Store is actually... Anyone?
Jesus Burgess. Actually, and I pointed this out to you, Zach, when we watched it. This is the first time we've ever heard a character say his full name.
Yeah, I was very confused by that fact, but...
Yeah, you didn't understand me at first. I mean, we've seen his full name before, of course, in Oda boxes, but I don't believe any character has ever said his full name. He's always been referred to as Burgess.
Well, if you're wrong, I guarantee you Greg is yelling at whatever he is listening to this on. So I think you're probably right, though. I trust you, Steve.
Well, if someone wants to point out that I'm wrong and shows where some character says full name, please, correct me, because I'm not gloating the fact that...
No, you're gloating. Let's keep it. I'm kidding. It was very weird. He just reveals himself for no particular reason. He's like, oh, I won. I'm going to just take off the bag and show who I am. I'm Happy Store. I mean, Jesus Burgess. Meanwhile...
Jesus Christ.
You think Jesus Christ did that too? He had a bag on his head as Happy Store and then said, no, I'm Jesus Christ. Anyway.
I am Ganesh.
in the audience. Frankie speaks of radicalism. He says, "Oh no, I'm going to take down Doflamingo." Everyone gives him the evil eye.
Just gives him a dirty look.
Then the soldier's like, "Let's try and get the fuck out of here." Meanwhile, back to Capman, the Doug supervillain. We see Gambia of the Barto Club. Steve, I agreed with what you said when you saw this guy.
What? Oh, I forgot this guy.
I forgot this guy existed. And yeah, Maynard kind of kicks his ass. It's a pretty interesting
What's
scene.
cool is the scene is extended from the manga. It was just him going like, "Yay, what are you talking about? You're saying everyone's name." And Maynard's like, "I'll have to call you back." What was cool is this was extended. And he kind of like, held a knife to this guy's throat.
Yeah,
and we had like a little bit of a fight. It was much cooler.
Yeah, so we
made it seem like this guy wasn't a total dumbass and could actually put up a fight.
Meanwhile, Fujitora gives a kid her balloon back. What was it? There's your pants ate my ice cream, or my pants ate your ice cream. I got that reversed. And then we find out after that scene he is an admiral, and he wants to go to.
From the opening.
Yeah, it's incredibly obvious if you pay any attention. I think even for us, while we were reading it along, it was pretty obvious that's
well, if you did your research and looked up what Fujitora meant, and you found I meant purple tiger, the guy walking around in a purple frickin' kimono, dead giveaway. And also, he looks like a Japanese guy.
Yep. Yes, I'm not touching that. I don't. Yeah. He looks like what's his name? Zatoichi. Anyway, he says he wants to go to Greenbit, and I really like this line from him. Instead of knowing your enemies, I want to know the amount of people to protect. Because he asked for the people in the Coliseum and how many people are in the town. I like that. We get, during this, a new original soundtrack here, and it really raises the tension. Very different from the new ones we've been getting throughout the arc with the classical guitar. I've really been enjoying the new stuff coming out of this arc. And we get the full name here, Vice Admiral Maynard the Pursuer, also known as Catman. And then we see a guy with a tongue sticking out approaching Lucy. This guy might be familiar to you because he is... Who is he?
I don't know. To be continued.
Oh, God. Bellamy!
Gasp!
He's alive.
So, what did you guys think of this episode?
I bet you forgot Bellamy was that tall, huh?
I don't think he was that tall, was he?
He was that tall.
Oh, really?
He was that tall. Even Luffy pointed it out the first time he met him. He's like, "Wow, everyone here is so tall."
What do you guys think of the episode?
I thought it was pretty slow in the beginning. I thought the stuff with Cavendish just seemed to drag way too long. But maybe just my viewing experience was a lot better because I watched it in HD in the first time in a very long time, and it looked incredible. Loved the Happy Store bit. Like the Maynard stuff. It was some nice and intense fighting. And I was super stoked to see Bellamy return in the story. So
sounds good. Doc?
Everything he said. I feel, the stuff with Rebecca, I was like, okay, so more backstory with her. The little scenes that I did like was Lucy hopping up and down behind the crowd. Like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on over here? I don't know why that made me really laugh.
I forgot about that. I loved that. There's a Tumblr on Tumblr. I reposted a GIF with that because I thought it was hilarious, him jumping in the back. And Chris Beveridge, who does the fandom post reviews, I think he commented on how Luffy was just a complete goof this episode, which kind of made it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even more so than usual, kind of playing a comic relief here. Because Luffy could be serious when he wants to be. He did not want to be here, though. So, I think that's everything. Good episode. I've been really enjoying Dressrosa so far. Pacing is always an issue. The animation goes off and on sometimes, but
it was a weird to see, like watching during the whole Cavendish thing.
Yeah, especially.
cutting back to Marineford and seeing, oh wow, I forgot how good the show looks
or can look.
Oh, can look.
Yeah.
I should say. But hey.
Because Marineford wasn't so well animated either, but that scene they showed
that scene specifically
is incredible looking. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the next segment. Okay, it's time to announce the winners of the Namco Bandai Filler Game Contest, and it's also our kickoff to our new segment we'll be starting hopefully relatively soon, Filler Up, in which we are doing one filler arc segment every couple months, probably. Whenever we feel like it.
Filler up.
Okay. So let's announce our 8 winners. We have 8 winners to this contest. First is from James. James, filler arc idea was for the recent Caesar retrieval arc. Luffy and Law find themselves trapped on Breed's ship and must participate in Breed's little animal-themed sports game in order to get Caesar and free him. Luffy and Law must ascend 5 levels to get to Caesar, who is stuck in a cage at the top level. Along the way, they must fight animals like the Kung Fu Dugongs and Lapines. Level 1 will be a foot racing game. Level 2 will be pairs tennis match. Level 3 will be a hockey match against Lapines. And level 4 will be a volleyball match. Finally, level 5 will be a test of strength against Breed and his controlled minions. If Luffy and Law are able to compete in all the levels, Caesar will be free from the cage and will be rewarded with King of the Beasts. Alright, the next one is from Wolfwood37, who says the arc he would use for a filler game is the Ice Hunter arc. He'd make an adventure-style game. The Ice Hunters were a large group of bounty hunters, each with their own powers and abilities, with plenty of cannon fodder, minions to beat up while fighting to get their flag back. This would make for some great boss fights, he says. You could also throw in some levels featuring Sunny and the Shark Submarine, which were featured during the arc, when they had to travel through the iceberg maze and fight the underwater army of animals. This was not one of my favorite arcs in the anime, but he said besides Ocean Dreams, it would make a decent video game. Ocean Dreams already being a video game. We got a lot of G8 submissions, but we picked...
And they all had a very similar pattern.
And by very similar, he means exactly the same. So we picked one that was a little bit different. This one's from Jonathan St. Martin. Welcome to Marine Base G8 Cadet. Your job here is to defend our base from marauding pirates like that Scrooge of the Seas, Straw Hat, Luffy, and his band of miscreants, utilizing whatever traps, weapons, and other marines you have at your disposal. Rise through the ranks from chore boy all the way to admiral. Steve did point out that seems a little unrealistic. Gaining valuable experience and developing your skills as you do. The higher the promotion, the more you'll be able to unlock to use to protect the high seas and the people living in it. You will also sail to various countries to help them steal their own defenses. And eventually make your way toward Marineford to prepare against the war against the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard. Who knows? Maybe you'll someday become a great tactician and strategist like me. Good luck, Vice Admiral Jonathan. That's who Jonathan St. Martin is. I see.
Should also give credit to everyone else. A lot of G8 ideas, and the similar pattern was everyone thought, oh, you could do like a Metal Gear Solid kind of sneaking game.
We really had a lot of people say exactly the same thing.
And by everyone, we mean everyone besides this one.
Yeah, right.
So not necessarily to knock anyone down.
No, it's not a bad idea, but it's that you can't choose one.
We were kind of surprised how many people.
A little too easy.
Yeah. Next one comes from Andrew Q. I think this was Steve's favorite, and I think this was my favorite as well. But we don't have a grand prize, so I'm sorry. Everyone gets the same prize. Anthony Q. My game idea isn't based off of a filler arc, but a filler movie. Based off the 9th movie episode of Chopper Plus, the Straw Hat crew must battle all of the series' past villains' non-canon fillerific siblings. See, I thought this was a very creative idea. Aside from Mushiru, Wapple's brother, other enemies include Eneru's little sister, who ate the static fruit and is able to shock people after rubbing her feet on the carpet. I don't think that's a power. Now that I think about that. Crocodile's older brother, user of the beach fruit, who turns to sand whenever people walk on him. And Steve's favorite, all of Shiki's large extended Jamaican family. And Arlong's sister Shirley, because, oh yeah, that's a character. And he just ends it Maji. I really like that, and I would definitely play that.
That just makes me angry because now I think back to Fishman Island. Remember how? Remember how we talked about recently how like Momu was just wasted. There was no point of.
Oh yeah.
What was the point of having Charlie be Arlong's sister? She never said. I don't think she.
I think
really
they
ever,
had little tie-ins.
I don't think she ever really said anything about Arlong though. She might have said, "Oh yeah, my brother was a dick." That might have been it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I thought that was another thing.
Right.
Did they have to be related? I don't think they really benefited anything at all. So
Robert gave 2 ideas. We're disregarding the first one because guess what? It's Metal Gear Solid for G8. Sorry. But it's just really funny how great minds think alike there. Everyone had that idea. But he did have, and I was looking for one for this arc, so I'm happy to see it. Extreme Spa Volleyball, based on Spa Island. This game would essentially be a ripoff of Dead or Alive, Extreme Beach Volleyball, and would take place on Spa Island. An incredibly fan-servicey arc meets an incredibly fan-servicey game. The player would be able to pick from a wide roster of stupidly proportioned One Piece women and play volleyball with them.
I also thought that,
I like that.
I also thought the game shouldn't be so biased and have the option to have some fan service with the guy characters too.
Yeah, we can.
More universal appeal.
I like it. Do they have a men's version of Extreme Beach Volleyball of Dead or Alive?
I don't even know if there's any actual volleyball games.
No, there is.
No, there are.
Yeah, Extreme Beach Volleyball. That's a real game.
Next one comes from Brandon. He says, my idea for a One Piece filler game would be a Phoenix Wright detective type game where you actually play as the Marines of G8 trying to uncover the identities of the Straw Hats before night falls and they're able to escape. However, with every clue that you find toward one of their identities, you could potentially miss something that would make the others difficult to find before the time limit expires if you overlooked some pieces of evidence. That's a cool one. You're a big fan of Phoenix, right, Steve?
Yeah. I think this is a really cool idea, and I like the Ace Attorney stuff. The one thing I'd be like, well, it'd be pretty obvious knowing that we know who the Straw Hats are, so it'd be you would have to play dumb for a while. But then again, that's pretty much what the new Ace Attorney game is. So I think it evens out.
I really like the games where it's turned on its head and you have the Straw Hats as the enemies. I don't think we've ever seen a game like that.
Because
besides Pirate Warriors too, but okay, Ryan Bennett has the Nintendo Gugongs and Other Pets. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This game is a result of a glorious once-in-a-lifetime partnership between Nintendo and Toei Animation. Playing from the perspective of Breed, you take control of various pets against their wills for the sake of your entertainment. While the Kung Fu Dugong is the main pet featured both on the box and in the game, you are also able to control a wide variety of other different animals from the One Piece universe, including your favorite Straw Hats and or Straw Hat allies. Have them perform tricks, dress them up in strange, cutesy clothing, creepily fondle them despite their constant struggling against it, and even have some of them fight against each other to the death if they get too rowdy. However, you better be careful, because if you keep your eye off these pets for too long, one of them will hatch a harebrained scheme that doesn't make sense against you in order to get free, which will result in a game over. So make sure to provide lots of unrequited attention to your slaves. I mean pets. I like that one as well. Again, being on the wrong side, I like that. Last winner here is from Mike S. One Piece Dragon Wars is based on the Warship Island arc, which you also might know as Steve.
The Peace arc.
There you go. The plot involves the Straw Hats having to go back to the Lost Island to help Apis save the island, which is being fought over by the Navy and a group of pirates trying to take control of the island and enslaving the dragons to fight in the war. One Piece Dragon Wars is an action game where Luffy has to fight marines, pirates, and dragons, and Luffy can use his abilities to pull dragons out of the sky and grab onto them and ride them. Those are our winners for the Namco Bandai contest. Remember, you could follow them at Namco Games. Check out, they might have more promotions in the future. And I think hopefully we'll have more promotions with them in the future. So do not fret if you lost this. Hopefully we will have other contests where you could win. And if you were a winner, hopefully by the time I'm saying this, you got an email. If not, by the end of Tuesday, you would have gotten an email with your codes. Sometimes I just stay up until 2 a.m. editing these things. So I apologize if by the time you're listening to this, you do not have your code, but it should be within the next day. Otherwise, you know where to email me. That's it for that segment. You ready to get into the next one, Steve?
Yes.
This is the Toonami Recap for episode 242. The episode title is Cannon Fire is the Signal. CP9 goes into action. So, if you saw Cannon Fire, you know that's the signal, and we did. For trending this week, One Piece was the number 3 US trend. Luffy trended at number 8, probably exclaiming, why the hell did he get stuck in that wall again? We also
Again, this was the first time.
No, this happened before in the series. His head got stuck in Arlong.
Yeah, but that wasn't a wall.
It was a floor. Or wasn't it? His feet got stuck in or something?
Well, when's the last time this happened? Last time this happened, he got stuck in a snake. And that was, we didn't even see that on American television, so.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. For me, it's annoying. Okay, let me have it. Mobile app trends, One Piece was number 7. For ratings, One Piece got a 947,000 household rating 0.6. It was only one of 2 shows to be ranked number 1 in its time slot among men 18 to 24.
Hell yeah.
The other one being Sword Art Online. Yeah, but One Piece...
Thought it would have been Space Dandy. But...
No. Space Dandy did do very well. It beat the Boondocks this week, so at 11 o'clock, the Boondocks did a little worse than Space Dandy at 11:30. So that's really good news. Space Dandy and One Piece were the only 2 shows to get higher numbers than last year. Also very good news. Space Dandy got, I think, 94,000 more, and One Piece got 3,000 more, very close to Thundercats, but still beating it. Very good news. I think One Piece has been doing good, especially since it's at 1 a.m. This isn't the best time of year for Toonami in general, and it's been doing very well. The summer months, of course, is when Toonami tends to do a lot better, when kids are off from school, and everyone could really enjoy Toonami a little bit more. I guess let's get into the episode, right? I love these cold openings. I know we say it every week, but it's nice. We started out, though, with a recap, with a normal recap music, which, dun, dun, I'm not going to sing the whole thing. And we open, though, with the thugs covering the perimeter of Galila. Luffy says, if we try and barge in swinging, we'll just be asking for trouble. Which is
Luffy will not follow that.
Luffy's own advice. We get a very dramatic zoom in to Iceberg's room, like boom, boom, boom. It's not like your normal sound effect. It's kind of interesting.
Like, how exciting can you make Iceberg's room? Nightstand, mirror, slipper,
Rat.
Iceberg then asks Caulifla if she could leave and asks for Polly. Kaku responds to that saying, "What in blazes?"
Shut up, Kaku.
What could that mean?
It would be so funny if someone just said that one time. It's like Kaku just something really outdated. It's like he says, what in blazes? Like, give it a rest.
Lucci's exposition pigeon explains the situation.
The smartest person in the room being a pigeon.
Yeah.
Well, not technically.
Yeah, I know, but Iceberg then shows Polly that there's a safe in the other room hidden under the carpet. We then go to Robin with a member of CP9 in a mask. How would you describe this bear mask?
A bear mask.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Steve.
Sleepy time bear.
It's a little creepy. I do like this touch, though, especially in the next episode as we get a little further in.
It makes more sense than the other mask this guy was wearing, because he was wearing like a very feminine mask before.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was a little weird. Although if you were walking around with a giant bear head, I feel like that would be a little weird, too.
It's One Piece.
Good point.
There was a talking reindeer.
So then, cannon fire, it's the signal, goes off at Galila. And we see someone dressed in a red outfit. Sounds like a girl. Everyone else is calling him a guy. Does a quick work of those guarding the building and uses a giant thorn whip. Meanwhile, Robin and the bear guy run through the crowd without caring, really, that they're going to get shot at. And apparently Luffy is gone during all of this commotion. So Luffy did barge in swinging, just asking for trouble. Well, he didn't. We find out he didn't, but he could have been. Robin and the bear guy are then surrounded. They get shot at, but they disappeared. And meanwhile, the red shirt guy, girl, whatever, continues, and we find out that she could fly by moonwalking. Michael Jackson was right all along with that secret.
Sorry, that's my terrible singing of Smooth Criminal.
Meanwhile, Polly...
Iceberg, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Iceberg?
Meanwhile, Polly in the
Shut up, Kaku.
Polly is encountered by two members of Cypher Pol 9 as he is opening the safe and gets the piece of paper. And apparently they were looking for what Iceberg had hidden, and they leave a trail of blood behind in this very nice, creepy scene. Then we head to Iceberg's room as we find out that the bear man has the door fruit, and he explains about it, and then he shoots Iceberg in the shoulder. And these two lines I kind of had to roll my eyes at. He's like, that was just an appetizer of pain. And then he's like, I'm about to show you the main course. It sounded cool because who does Bear Guy's voice?
I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment.
I really do. I think he did a very good job. And he sounds a lot like the Japanese, which is that foreboding, super deep voice. So, I think. I'm
sorry, I can't. There were so many characters introduced in like season 4 and 5. I can't remember all the actors, but he's good.
Well, Bear Guy explains how this document was passed down from shipwright to shipwright, and then Iceberg must have passed it to Polly just now. Meanwhile, Zoro, Chopper, and Nami decide to barge in. It does not work out. They assume Luffy would have distracted everyone when he barged in, but we find out Luffy was stuck between two buildings.
Can we all just make one groan right here? 3, 2, 1. It's not one of Zach's favorite bits. I'll tell you that.
It is not. I do complain about it a lot. I did like this episode a lot, though. This is definitely one of the better ones. The thing is, Toonami kind of spoiled a little bit if you were watching the bumpers.
Oh.
But don't go back and look if you didn't realize it. The next episode is a very big episode. And I hope everyone out there watching enjoys it. Any other thoughts on this one?
The plot thickens. This is definitely this just opens up a lot more questions instead of answering any, and you just really want to see the next episode really bad, and hoping to God that you figure out who the hell CP9 is. But this is some really good stuff. I hope people out there that are watching One Piece for the first time, they're really enjoying it.
Yeah, but there is a payoff to all this. Oh,
Yeah.
Which might have been ruined by a bumper.
Which may have been ruined by a bumper. Okay, let's get into the next segment. Ready?
Yeah.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories and piece them together. That's creative, right? Okay, why don't we start with emails? This one comes from Joel. What do you guys think of CP0? If the Straw Hats got into a fight with them similar to the NES Lobby arc in CP9, do you think they would win? We know that CP9 had mastery of all the Rokushiki techniques. So do you think the CP0 has hockey? Would Usopp fight an agent or stay on the sidelines again? What do you guys think in general? I guess CP0 in this arc.
I don't know. It's hard to say because we don't. I mean, do we know for sure why they are here? Really?
I feel like they're more of an undercover organization. I mean, CP9 was the assassination, kill people organization.
Yeah.
CP0, I feel like, is a little more nefarious, but not as trying to kill people.
Hands on. Yeah.
That's a better way to put it. Any other thoughts?
That's the thing. We don't know much about them, and we haven't seen them in a while. We can only assume if they're at a higher level than CP9, obviously they have to have some sort of fighting expertise to back it up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't think we've seen enough of anything to suggest that they're, at some point in the future are going to, clash with the Straw Hats. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Oda just sort of leaves them dangling here, like maybe explains what they're doing or, explains their role a bit more, but then just leaves that for, something to story element that would lurk in the background until a future arc where they might have a more active role or something like that. It just seems like there's way too much going on in this arc, particularly for them to be inserted as a story point or as a foe to be surpassed. That's my take on it.
We had one more question from Joel as well, saying, imagine post time skip Usopp fought all of Luffy's opponents from him starting off his voyage, Alvida, through Arlong, etc. How far would he get? And do you think he could beat pre-time skip Luffy, Usopp? The thing is, I don't think we've seen so much of Usopp that I would know the answer to that yet.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I don't know. I don't see Usopp as being tough enough to beat, say, Crocodile.
No. Yeah, I think Arlong is certainly possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arlong was strong. He put Luffy to the test. Okay, I guess we'll go to the next one. Noah says, good morning to everyone. I guess it's good evening, whatever time you're listening to this. Anyways, I was just wondering, since iTunes has gotten better as of late, adding anime and other OSTs, original soundtracks, to their store, how long do you think it'll be before they add One Piece to their iTunes store? I'm pretty sure I remember when you did a Strong World recap, the One Piece brand manager mentioned something was coming up soon. Josh had said that they were trying to get on Netflix, I know. iTunes definitely seems like a much harder thing, but I think it was part of their the contract they were negotiating for Season 6 to get more digital rights to One Piece, and Season 6 was announced, so hopefully that means we'll have more digital rights to One Piece. I guess, A equals B, so B has to equal C, I don't know. Next one comes from Toon Legion, who said, unless there are any more thoughts on that. No? Okay. Toon Legion says, I think I realized the flaw in Sugar and Treble's pairing. Think about it. Her powers relay rely on having to touch a person, and he's a sticky person. So if her hands get gummed up, her power is virtually useless, barring any additional abilities. Likewise, the Tata Babasco ball won't be used to knock her out, but rather keeping her from making her contracts, since she needs them to put any of the toys under her control. That's interesting. Any thoughts?
I like, this isn't necessarily directly related to that, but it did occur to me when you guys mentioned that she tossed the basket of grapes aside, that they're just going to be scattered all over the floor, and possibly so will the Tata Babasco. So like maybe she'll sit back in her, throne or whatever, like after they've sort of neutralized the Tintatas or Usopp or Robin, and then she'll just accidentally eat the Tata Babasco without anyone realizing it. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I like that. Any other thoughts? No? Okay. It's just you and me, Steven. Ryan.
Yeah. All right.
Ryan says, if what Oda said about there being a decade left of One Piece is true, how many full arcs do you think we have left in the series? I'm assuming that there will be one. Ryan says one for Wano, Elbaf, Raftel, and the Endgame War, but otherwise it seems relatively vague. Speaking of which, are there any other islands you'd want these Straw Hats to visit aside from those that he mentioned?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't think Oda ever actually said, he doesn't really put numbers, like year numbers, out there. That's all conjecture.
Yeah, I think we might go.
I believe Greg may have said he thought personally that meant another 10 years at least.
Yeah.
When, he was talking about all the stuff he did around the end of the year. But
I think at one point he said something around that. I don't remember. I think at one of the Jump Festas. But I wouldn't believe it anyway, since he...
Yeah, I mean, I think stories like that, like statements take on a life of their own when they reach the internet and the fandom, especially when it's, in a different language and in a different country where, like the context is totally lost. So
that's also a lot of years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's the thing. Like, what if he decides to hey, let's make some shorter arcs so you don't have to necessarily make the long epics every time.
I think he's been meaning to make some shorter arcs too. I think he wants to.
He's been sticking pretty closely to the 1 year per arc, like the 5 volumes.
Except
max.
for this
one. I think this one is kind of getting back to his longer stuff, but he's also tackling a lot of big topics.
There's a lot going on in this.
Yeah.
He just keeps adding stuff, and I don't know why he keeps doing that. Jeez. Let's make everything longer, you jerk.
It's a good arc, though. So
it's great, though. That's
the
problem.
Yeah.
If it were a bad arc and he were doing this, which he has done before, I'd be a little more... Well, I think we know what I'm talking about. But, yeah. It's good. I'm happy that this arc is going to be one of the longer ones, but I'm looking forward to some short ones. I think Zoe is probably an example of one that'll be shorter.
Yeah. Whatever that. I mean, that could just be like a Shabandi thing where it's like 1 volume or something.
Or it could just be something where, we know Sanji's going to be there. Either we're not going to see them for the rest of the arc, the curly Q pirates, whatever.
Yeah, twirly brow pirates.
Twirly brow curly Q. The twirly brow pirates, I don't think we're going to see them for a little while. Yeah. But it may not be until everything's done. I wouldn't be all that surprised.
Yeah.
And then we'll just see them at Zoe and maybe catch up to what they've been doing in kind of... Didn't we have something where we went back and we saw what happened with something?
Well, we got all the sort of flashback stuff when the individual Straw Hats went their non-merry ways to train and do whatnot during the time skip. But yeah, let's see. Well, as far as like what he was asking about the number of arcs,
I'd say we have at least... The thing is, arcs I feel like are going to start melding together a lot more as we go on.
Yeah. They have not been quite as distinct. Aside from
location,
aside from location, it seems like he's done a good job of sort of sewing them together with distinct plot lines carrying over between arcs and stuff like that.
I feel like we're going to get that a lot more because I think the whole theme with the New World is everything's kind of connected and it's leading up to something big.
So I could see aside from Zoe, whatever form that takes, definitely Wano is going to have a big arc. I think
That's got to be big because it's Japan.
Yeah. I don't think he would skimp out on that.
I'm thinking we might see Kano now too, and I think that would be really interesting to see.
Maybe that'll be part of the Wano arc.
That's also true. It could definitely
story part. And maybe Elbaf at some point.
I think that would be a shorter one. I don't know. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
There's so much room that Oda has to take the story in different ways. But yeah, probably an arc for each of the main emperors.
Yeah, Kaido. We're definitely going to that island where Caribou was.
Which I think we don't even know what that was called.
No, I don't think we know either. There's a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more. Next one comes from Toby. He said, I wrote last week with a question concerning Mr. Sabotage, and this week I have a theory. Last week in the podcast, you discussed how you thought Luffy may go along with the model of sub-captains like Whitebeard and Blackbeard have. Since there were 11 supernovas in Shabari, do you think that each of them will become one of Luffy's sub-captains to battle Blackbeard's sub-captains in the final battle?
I wouldn't call them sub-captains, but sure, to some extent. Maybe not all of them, but many of them.
Or in an alliance? I can see that.
Yeah.
I think it would be really interesting if that's how that worked out.
That's interesting, but it's depriving me. It's depriving me of seeing Usopp face Van Ogre, so I can't support it. Usopp has to fight Van Ogre. That's how it has to be.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Any more thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, definitely some form of that I think will happen. But I do believe that there'll be a lot of, it's not going to be like oh man, we're all on the same page. Like we're out there fighting together. Like, because we've already seen that there's a lot of bickering between the supernovas already. So I think it'll be pretty tenuous at best. But that'll be interesting to see.
So this next question comes from Goofy Glasses 13. Spanish is his primary language, so keep that in mind as we read the following question. I figured I'd send something in since no one on the podcast caught the genuine Spanish lyrics sung in Violet's introduction dance sequence. You see, I thought it might have been. I don't think I was on that episode. Apart from all of the ole and hey, there are two very clear Spanish phrases stuck in there. The first phrase, my accent's terrible. With everything. It's every language, not just Japanese. I don't discriminate. No tiene novio, which literally translates to does not have a boyfriend. And the second phrase, pata negra, literally translates to Blackfoot. So I am guessing that the second phrase was meant to be translated to pianera negra. However, since the term pata is usually used for regarding the legs on a non-human, like a chair or a table, whereas pierna is used for humans, I can't speak the English part. There are exceptions, but that's getting into a more complex area of semantics. Regardless, those two phrases were definitely in the middle of the song. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, a lot of times when you get, Japanese stuff where they're trying to bring in things from other languages, like you can sort of see what they were going for, but it was clear that, they didn't actually have a native. Yeah. So I wonder if they had kind of the same thing, maybe not, from an actual Spanish speaker, but someone.
Well, there's English. I don't know what the equivalent to Spanish, or I don't know how that works. Equivalent messed up version of another language. I mean, I know I was speaking the equivalent Japanese that was butchered. I know I was doing that. So I could understand making mistakes, especially since at least English is a very difficult language. I think Spanish is a little easier for people to get, although 7 years of it and I am nowhere. Andy asks our final email question. This isn't meant to delve into a conversation concerning sexism in One Piece. Uh-oh, Doc.
But let's test that.
But the topic does concern Nika Robin and her fights, or lack thereof, in the series. Save for one fight during the Skypiea arc, Robin's fights tend to be quick. This could be attributed to her strength and her devil fruit, but it doesn't change the fact that she's usually not paired up with a strong opponent. What do you think Oda needs to do, if anything at all, to change this? My hope is that the fight with Trebol and Sugar will show more of Robin's potential.
Make her fight a strong opponent.
Yeah.
I think there's potential here. She's definitely not the type, her against Doflamingo. It's like, what's the point in that? That's not that fun to see. I think her using her brain, because she's the one with the big brain on the crew.
Well, she's got some big other things, but we won't have to get into that. And we were trying not to get into sexism.
We're not.
And you go right to the boobs.
I mean, I think there is room. It depends because we got obviously have Robin and Usopp and the Tatatas, although I kind of have a feeling that they're not going to be the muscle in this fight.
Unfortunately,
plus they're also kind of occupied fighting their own guys now with the little bears. But yeah, it's tough with Robin because and with Nami, I think for Oda, because it's sort of like what are you saying? You want her to fight someone tougher, and then we have to see her get like bloodied and beaten up a lot like this. I don't know if that's necessarily the best solution, but I would like to see her face someone who kind of presents a stronger and more specific threat, which could be Trebol. I mean, obviously we saw him; he was messing up some stuff at the end of this week's chapter. So I would like to see that again, because I definitely do. Like when I think of Robin's fights, I think of the fight with Yama in Skypiea, where like she got medieval on him. Like she threw him off a cliff essentially and like broke his limbs and did some real gross stuff to him. So I mean, it would be fun to see that again, but I don't know if it's likely to happen, because
then again, who the hell is Yama?
yeah. But he definitely has kind of a maybe not double standard is not the right word, but he definitely has. He puts the kid gloves on when he deals with the females, unfortunately.
I think he used to do that less, and I think it's happening more that he puts the kid gloves on.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I liked One Piece at the beginning is that he didn't do that. Nami, for example, I think was very strong and out there at the beginning.
Yeah, and she, like especially, you get into the Arlong arc, and she had a lot of pain. I mean, she fucking like took a knife and jabbed it into her shoulder. Like that was,
and
she had some hardcore moments. Yeah.
When she was fighting Ms. Double. No, what's her
Miss
face?
Monday?
Miss Doublefinger.
Miss Doublefinger. Yeah. I was right. And she gets like speared several times by that what do you call it, sea urchin kind of thing. Nami is strong, and we just don't see it anymore. And Robin, we know, is strong, and we don't see it. I hope to see a little bit more of it.
Agreed.
We actually, going to Reddit, we had the same exact question starting us off on Reddit, so we're past that. That was from I'm a Doc 91 though. So next one is from The Hobbit, who says
The Hobbit.
Well, there's numbers in it, so will Usopp ever change? I really wanted to see him kick some ass in the New World.
This is a tricky thing to answer, but on some level, he is always going to be Usopp. Like he's always going to be comparatively like the coward in the crew, or like that's going to be his shtick, because that's what makes him Usopp. Like you can't just all of a sudden like Usopp shows up, even after his training, and it's like, oh, here's Usopp, and now he's the biggest badass on the crew, and now he's a totally different character, because that would be sort of betraying the character that Oda has built. So he's always going to have that element to his personality. But I think,
what is it? He's supposed to represent like what we would do in the situation, like a regular person.
He's kind of the everyman of the crew.
And I'm going to be honest, the person who'd scare me most in the series is probably that little girl, because she could wipe people's memories of you. That's a fucking scary ability. I think that's probably the scary. What we were saying, it's like worse than death. No one remembers who you are.
Yeah.
Although I think in the digital age that would be a little weirder because you'd have pictures of the person.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I've seen 50 First Dates.
Who's this person doing 300 episodes on this podcast? I have no idea. I'm listening right now. What? Sorry.
Yeah. I think he can still have great moments where he is a tough guy, and he has like new abilities and stuff that looks awesome when he finally gets around to it. But I mean, I would not expect him to suddenly be Mr. Tough Guy, and he'll have his moment to turn it around, and we can appreciate that more when it comes to that. But I don't know. I wouldn't expect him to do a 180 on Usopp.
All right, next question comes from No Last Name 100. Why do you think Oda hid the face of the King of Goa? Do you think we'll see him at Reverie?
Did he? Where?
I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe that must have been during the.
I think I need to reread that flashback. It's been a while, probably since I talked about it on the podcast. It's been a couple of years. I definitely think we'll see the King of Goa at Reverie. I don't know if it's the same one. I mean, that was like almost 20 years ago at this point, right? 18. When was that flashback? No, that was like 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So 13.
Because that was when Luffy was a kid.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Typeset says, does Sugar or Trebol utilize observational hockey, or is it just all speed? I'm going to say speed. I didn't really see any indication of observational hockey.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the.
Catches
you
fast.
mean in terms of like catching the fly and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. That's a tough question because it didn't seem like Oda. Like a lot of times when he shows someone having some really special ability, he immediately kind of tells you why or what the deal is. But he didn't really go. It was just like, oh, Trebol has really good eyes. So I don't know. I mean, I guess there's room for that, but it didn't seem like he was making a point of it being hockey stuff.
Is everything hockey until proven otherwise now? Is that like the new standard?
Right. Yeah, that's.
That guy can just be really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I lean towards speed.
Okay, next question comes from Jay Mills, who says, so far we have seen a few power-ups in the One Piece worlds: dials, temporarily absorbing shadows, energy steroids, and of course, devil fruits. If Shadow Luffy, Shadow Zoro, and Shadow Sanji, with Zoro Sanji learning armament hockey, overdosed on energy steroids, then took on the previous three admirals, do you think that they could take them on or even beat them?
It wouldn't even happen because they'd all suffer heart attacks.
This sounds like a 90s American comic book.
Yeah, is that a question or a fanfic?
Yeah, it's like a
Rob Liefeld.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I can just imagine Rob Liefeld just drawing One Piece with just terrible anatomy and giant man boobs.
And just slap some pouches on their belts, and there you go.
Okay, next one comes from Taff Atlantis. You guys mentioned a week or two ago that you did not like Skypiea at least as much as other arcs. I was wondering if you could elaborate on this. And do you think Doflamingo is being set up like Eneru? What I mean is that he was setting up like the baddest, most unstoppable force, and relatively speaking, Luffy whooped his behind. I only think this not because I think Doflamingo is weak, but that is just so early in the new world for them to have a really hard challenge, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I think people not, because I want him to come back.
Wait, no, I feel like I'm answering a question that I just made up in my head. What's the question again?
What do you think of? Why did you think Skypiea wasn't that great? It's the first one.
Yeah, the two reasons I could think of was just that it was slowly paced at times. A lot of characters, would be gone for a while, including Straw Hat, mainly Straw Hats, and just it hardly set up a future storyline.
It really did, but you didn't really realize it for a while.
And here and there, Roger was up in Skypiea, and it introduced Dials, but I feel like every huge arc, the after effects totally, play a
the
part.
world,
Yeah, change the world. The Straw Hats, going to Skypiea and beating Endeavor really didn't change anything. But I think people don't appreciate Skypiea for why it was so great. Awesome world building, a different part of the One Piece world. So it was, the technology and the culture was different. Characters had like the little the wings. I thought it was really cool. I think people forget about that and they just focus on the pacing too much.
Next question. Okay, go on, Steven.
Oh, I was just going to say, I wasn't on last week. I think I remember when, I think it was you, Zach, who was saying that, Skypiea was maybe not your favorite or something. And I was kind of surprised at the time because I definitely think it's one of the best. But having gone through it in real time, and I think probably Greg would agree. I know Jason would agree because he was there too when it was coming out. It was really slow to get through week to week, which I think it was really the only major thing I would knock against it. But it reads great. I think if you read it all at once, as is the case with most arcs. I've always really liked Skypiea.
What I said about it is the first time I went through it, I was not a huge fan of it. But each time I've read it, marathon read it or watched it or whatever, I've enjoyed it more. Kind of like the movie Anchorman, which is a great movie. But I think Skypiea is a great arc. It's just it took me a while to appreciate it. Okay, Adenise says in chapter 738, the main SAD container has the number 1458 written on it. Do you think that this is just a model number, or do you think it represents the year when SAD was first manufactured? If it is indeed a year, then it means SAD was being produced long before Roger's era. So for a reference, the first note Nami reads from Nolan's log mentions 1120, and she comments on the book being 400 years old. So that makes the current One Piece timeline somewhere in the 1520s. And since Roger died 20 years ago, that would be 1500.
You're saying that they wrote a patent for it on
you see, that's how that would work. Yeah, for a patent, you'd have the year written. But I doubt they have a patent since it's illegal, probably.
I would guess, I didn't think about this, and I would have to go back and dedicate some time to it. But I would be really surprised if that was the explanation. I would say just based on first guess that it's probably more likely that there is a Japanese language joke in there because a lot of the numbers can be turned into Japanese syllables. And so maybe there's something that is kind of a goofy in-joke there. I'd have to take a look and think about it for a while to see. But, I don't know. Oda, I'd completely forgotten that Oda had even assigned any years to anything in the story because he goes back to them so infrequently. It's just not. It's the same thing with days of the month or what have you. When he wants to talk about passage of time, he might mention 3 days later after they leave an arc or something like that,
or centuries ago when referring to the Void Century. Yeah.
But he doesn't really provide a framework where it's okay, this is AD 5 and this happened in year 72.
I mean, on the other hand, we've had more years in this arc than in a while. We did talk about the Void Century with what's his face, the older Tontada. 800 years ago, right?
But I don't see how that particular concept fits into it's so important that it has to be from this time period.
I mean, what's that number in Japanese? Is it some sort of pun?
Well, that's what I was guessing, but I have to look.
Okay, do your pun research. Pun search.
Okay.
Pun search.
All right.
I don't know what it would be called. Gear Second says, with the Toriko anime maybe ending, do you think that One Piece will get better animation? And do you guys think that Luffy could beat Doflamingo one-on-one without any plot device? Those are completely different questions. What do you guys think?
I don't. As far as the budget thing, I don't think so because I don't believe that doubling the budget of the One Piece anime show is going to give them double the ratings. It doesn't work that way, sadly.
And they get good ratings right now, and they get very good ratings, and it's not helping their budget at all. And when Kai was on, I think the One Piece anime looked worse. When was Kai on? Which arc was going on?
Kai ended in 2011 in Japan. So
all right, so we were Marineford. I mean, the animation wasn't that great back then. I don't.
Well, think of all the people they had to animate.
It's a lot of.
I don't know. I think One Piece could look much better for not much more money, and I think they're very cheap about it. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Tifa Cloud Leon says, once the Three Stooges animal disguises come out in the anime, would you like to have figures made of Cat Zoro, Frog Kinemon, and Fish Luffy? Come on.
Those would be great.
Yeah, yes. Obviously, definitely. Steve, I think it's time to...
I'm sorry. Are you ready? No, I said, are you ready? Then, for the foreign attendants and the thousands listening at home or in the car or the gym, wherever they're... Ooh, let's get ready to piece of tweet!
First one comes from Bart the Terrible. Since Enies Lobby does not have a full moon or any moon in sight, how would Jabura turn into a full-fledged werewolf?
Because he ate a fucking devil fruit.
Nice answer there, Steve. Next question. Milos, the creator, asks, what role might Wano Kingdom play in the story? Maybe the main location of a story arc.
That.
Yeah.
Wow, we're really getting through these quick this week.
Lightning round.
Next one comes from Ben. What do you think of the cast selections in J-Star's Victory Versus for Luffy, Hancock, Akainu, and Ace? Good choices?
I think so. Luffy's the main character. Ace is very popular. Akainu is probably going to be probably the second big villain of the series. I think Blackbeard is still going to be the top villain, and probably Blackbeard's easier to make a game character out of because he could punch.
Come on, lightning round, Steve.
I wonder if Hancock was maybe a choice more for balance, where it's like, all these other series, we don't have any like super voluptuous babes, so let's go to Hancock instead of Nami or Robin.
And probably they don't have a whole lot of female characters that fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like two I can think of that are in that game. It's like Hancock and Madaka from Madaka Box.
Oh, wow.
That's about it.
One Piece is probably the best place to go.
Yeah.
Gwen asks, what movie, show, or show character would you imagine in One Piece?
We have this question a lot recently.
Or this kind of question, at least. Yeah. Well, we had Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, we didn't mention that in the episode where that occurred.
No, we did.
No, we didn't.
Oh, that was from a few ago? Or
Yes. Lightning round.
Okay, next one. Side chat.
Well, we didn't even answer the question.
Wait a minute.
You yelled lightning round.
We don't have any. I don't have any good answers.
Yeah,
I
all
don't
right.
either.
Good.
I don't, like I said, no, she's not from film or TV, but I said Lady Gaga I would like to see as a One Piece character.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if I think of movies, I don't want to think of, say, like Marvel superheroes because that's Marvel, I kind of, it's like, no, they're in Marvel universe. It would be silly to put them in One Piece.
Yeah, who's this Tony Stark looking guy now?
Tony Stark.
So I guess the answer is we'll get back to you. You could ask us that in a few months, and hopefully we'll have a better idea.
Or someone else will.
Or someone else will, who's on the podcast. Sai Chance asks, do you think Luffy will ever kill a villain, maybe near the end of the series, if ever?
We had this whole theory. I don't necessarily think it'll be Luffy that causes this, but I do have a feeling that there will be a character, a devil fruit user, that'll die from drowning, and we
haven't seen that yet.
We predicted it would be Blackbeard.
We did? I don't even remember that.
I cannot see them being, oh, all right, Blackbeard, you've been a naughty boy. You go to jail. You know, I don't see it happening.
I think that would be a really cool way. I mean, I think Blackbeard has to die, or the main villain of the series, whoever he may be, which is seeming to be Blackbeard. Maybe Akainu as well. Akainu, I could see Akainu going to jail. Blackbeard, I just see dying. And I wouldn't say that very often. There's very few deaths in the series, and I think that's for a reason. We know that's for a reason now. It's to kind of bring a bigger impact to them.
What do you think?
I like that.
What do you think? Sink twice as fast.
Okay, next one.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. Next one comes from Ash. You guys.
Ash. Sorry.
You guys, lightning round. You guys keep talking about Trafalgar Law's possible upcoming backstory, which I'm looking forward to myself as well. But what are your guys' hope? What are you guys hoping to see in it? How long do you think it'll be? How long? And how do you think it'll tie up all the mystery about the character and why he joined Doflamingo? He must have some sort of motive behind it. Who is this Korra person?
Well, basically, I just want to see. Yes. I want to see Korra, and I want to see Devastation.
Yeah, it's a tough question because we've had a lot of like small, basically one chapter flashbacks. Not even a full chapter, just like part of a chapter. With King Riku, and several of them with the soldier and Rebecca. And I feel like it'll be similar. Like, I don't think it will be a long-term thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 2 or 3 chapters, just because, he's a more important character to the story as a whole than, the toy soldier or King Riku or Rebecca or anyone like that. I mean, he's kind of a more complicated, or at least he has the appearance of a more complicated and multifaceted character. So I would hope that, it would be a little bit more fleshed out of a flashback.
Last question. Mr. Roanoa Sanji says, who do you think is the most complex or layered character in One Piece? And he has favorite devil fruit, but we get asked that every week, so let's start with that.
I don't have a favorite devil fruit, so Fable.
Who do you think is the most complex or layered character in One Piece?
That's tough.
I don't know if I have one in particular, but there are a couple. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily say that this has grown or shrunk over the course of this arc, but Doflamingo is definitely one that, prior to him taking center stage, was definitely considered very mysterious and kind of hard to grasp. And, some of the other guys like Kuzan or Kizaru, who have been, not as single-minded in their pursuits. They've been kind of interesting. Or maybe like Mihawk or something like that.
Mr. Roanoa Sanji also said, how come the entire body that Robin can grow out and make disappear also has clothes on? That's not part of her power, and he claims that is a plot hole.
It's a manga for kids. And if you want to get technical, Luffy wears a hat made of straw. That shit wouldn't have survived half of the stuff he's been through.
Well,
time skip. She managed to make clothes. I don't know.
I think that's a great way to end this segment. Why don't we round off the podcast? You guys ready?
Lightning round. Damn it.
This has been episode 307 of the Unofficial One Piece podcast for Monday, February 24th, 2014. Good episode this week, guys. A manga recap of 738, anime recap of 634, and a Toonami recap of episode 242. And One Piece Podcast Japan, it's less than a month away now. It's going to be on March 21st in Boston, which is where Anime Boston's going to be, believe it or not. It's going to be Friday, March 21st, 3 p.m., Panel C. Be there, and you'll enjoy it. We also are going to be having a panel at 5 p.m. on Saturday, March 22nd. And yeah, and we're gonna also do I think we're gonna meet up when the cosplay meetup is. And I said I'd look that up. I'll look it up for next week. But you can go to cosplay.com, go to the Anime Boston section, go to the One Piece section. You'll find it. We'll go to whichever one of those don't conflict with other things that we have to do. Hopefully, we'll bring out some interviews from there. Who knows? These things are toss-ups usually, right, Steve?
Yeah, look forward to Anime Boston. We don't know if it's going to be good. We don't know.
It could be good.
It could be great. It could be terrible.
It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. Look forward to it.
We're mixed on this.
That's just about my review of everything. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And I think that's just about everything coming up. That's the big one. Steve, you're also going to be at Anime Expo, I think, this summer. We're hoping to go to Anime North. I think that's a definite possibility.
Something we've been considering.
It's something we really want to do. We definitely get a lot of fans from Ontario, I guess, or whoever goes to Anime North, who have been asking if we could attend that convention. I definitely want to give some Canadian representation, so hopefully we could get up there. I think those are you're going to be at a lot of cons, right, Steve?
Yep, I'm going to be very, very busy.
He's a con man.
You're doing Zenkai Con, right? And
next up is Boston. Then I'll be at the Mocha Fest, Zenkai Con, Anime Central, Anime Expo. Hell, they're doing another New York Comic Con in June, so I might be there.
Yeah, I didn't. You told me about that. I can't believe that. Steve and I got to see Akira. If you couldn't tell from his Instagram videos.
It's an inside joke that no one will understand, but thank you for liking it if you did.
We both got to see that in theaters this week, and that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It was very late, though, so Steve was not awake.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was very tired. I was up very early that day,
yeah.
And I just watched my Blu-ray like a couple months ago, so I was nodding off, waking up. I'm like, oh, I know where we're at. Oh, yeah, I remember the scene now. Oh, good scene. Oh, this is a good part. Yeah. And I would like to point out on this podcast that the people next to me got a lot of food. Oh, yeah, you could get food in this theater. It's really cool.
And drinks.
Yeah, and they didn't eat. They hardly ate any of their food.
So
I should have been like, hey, pass it over.
By the way, have you noticed the interior of the officer's tower kind of looks a lot like that creepy kid's room?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Do you think that's related?
Definitely.
I like your enthusiasm there, or confidence, Stephen. Doctor, where can people find you?
Let's see, SSAAPodcast.com.
Am I putting you on the spot here?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. You usually want to just say the entire thing, but yeah, SSAAPodcast.com is where the Ass Backwards Enemy Podcast lives, and I just need that last part of 100, and then it'll be done. And then
I thought you put
on.
that up already. Yeah.
I forgot to. It's like I realized there's one glaring thing that needs to be done, and I'm basically doing that all of this week. So it should hopefully be up by this weekend.
And you also have that Gintama podcast.
That Gintama Podcast is exactly the name. No, it's actually
that isn't at all. Just a Gintama Podcast.
Just a Gintama Podcast over at GintamaPodcast.com.
I figured it out. I'm not caught up with Gintama, so I can't listen to it.
But don't worry, it's over already, so it's easy to catch up with.
Okay. It keeps getting renewed and then canceled and then renewed. And,
It's weird.
yeah, it's Gintama.
Yeah, the manga's still running, so who cares?
Steven, how's everything going with you?
Exciting.
Certainly made it seem that way.
It's not much.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Well, it was definitely good to get the, like I mentioned earlier, get the OPP Japan stuff out of the way because I have.
If only Jose could say that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Jose is shaking his fist at me whenever he's listening to this. But yeah, my part is mostly over, so I'm just advising now on the subtitles.
And where can people find you on the internets?
On Twitter at translatosaurus.com.
No, that's not how that's...
It's at regular, just regular at translatosaurus.
It's twitter.com/
I still think you should have went with Truckosaurus.
That's probably taken already.
Yeah. Steve, what's happening with you? Where can people find you?
It's the Truckosaurus account just says Sunday.
And also Saturday. Well, there's the cons.
That you mentioned.
Yes. I mean, well, Katsucon already happened. I didn't really talk about Katsucon was awesome.
I forgot about Katsucon.
I was at my table the whole time. I didn't do a panel or anything, but it was awesome. Definitely some listeners stopped by and mentioned that they listened to the show. I might have even said this last week.
I think you may have, yeah.
Double thanks.
Double thanks. That's like a 1984 word right there.
But yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of conventions and working on a lot of art this year, hopefully. So, just follow me on steveyurko.tumblr.com. That's where I update the most. And it's a good way to keep track of who's checking out my stuff because you could follow me.
You can follow me at Zach_Logan since we're doing all these. Let's see. Steve, do you know how people could contact the podcast?
Why did I forget that we had to do this?
Yeah, you did.
Go to our website, onepiecepodcast.com. Email us, onepiecepodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of piece together on our email. So, yeah, make sure to send that to us and put piece together in the title of your email.
Yeah, that's important.
So that will be read. Also, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/onepiece. And for piece together there, too, post on our wall. Don't send us direct messages. Those kind of get overlooked sometimes. If you want to send in a piece together, just post it on our wall. We'll see it, instantly. And then, of course, twitter.com/onepiecepodcast. iTunes. Subscribe, rate, and review. Leave us a nice review. We don't get those too often. Not saying that people don't like our show, but not a lot of people write reviews. So go out of our way. We'd appreciate that. What else do we got? Stitcher
Smart Radio app.
Stitcher Smart Radio app.
Did you say youtube.com/onepiecepodcast?
Oh, youtube.com/onepiecepodcast, where Zach is uploading past episodes in their entirety.
A little slower. I missed a few weeks, but we're back to it. We're up to episode 300, so you could listen to Sasaki Hisashi on YouTube now, youtube.com/onepiecepodcast. Is that everything?
I believe that's everything.
But what about, I feel like there's one more thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You could call us.
You could call us at our phone number, Steve. That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime. With your questions, comments, theories, and suggestions. We have upgraded servers for our website. If you have noticed, our website's been going very slow, and that is because you guys like visiting it, which is a good reason for it to go slow. But it also means that server costs are going up. I, of course, want to thank our sponsors, Collecticon, for making it possible to even think about upgrading. But this may happen again in the future, so to support us, feel free to donate and help out the podcast whenever you can. That's at onepiecepodcast.com/donate. Server costs are more than they used to be because we've been getting incrementally a little bit bigger, especially the website lately, since we've been posting a lot of news, and a lot of news that brings people all to the site at the same time that it crashes it. I think we're doing a little bit better today. We just upgraded today. Let's find out as this episode is released. Let us know. But again, your support is much appreciated. And, of course, a huge thanks to our sponsors for keeping us alive, along with all of our fans. So, for the unofficial One Piece podcast, my name is Zach.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
悲しいリアルを壊せぬくもりつきの羽をあげようシュールなだ天使心から歌うのさ
So, for the unofficial One Piece podcast, my name is Zach.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Ricky?
Lucy.
Happy Store. Then, for the foreign attendants and the thousands listening at home or in the car or the gym, wherever they're at, let's get ready to piece together.
Piece the tweet.
Edit this in.
You botched that, Steve.
Hi, this is Steve Yurko, and you're watching Botchamania. Who the fuck is Steve Yurko?